A thin stream of blood spurted from His Highness's mouth onto my right cheek.
Welcome back, Attorney General William Barr speaking out on the Department of Justice's push to investigate the origins of the Russia probe. Let's bring in Trey Gowdy.
Floor of the car. I thought she had simply fainted. Then I heard His Imperial Highness say, "Sofurl, Sofurl, don't die, stay alive for the children." I asked him if he was in great pain. He answered me quite distinctly, "It's nothing."
Franz Ferdinand and Sophie died on the way to hospital. Their funeral was held in Vienna on the 4th of July. Oskar Potiorek, the governor of Bosnia, had already written to the Foreign Ministry calling for Austria-Hungary to take revenge against Serbia.
We must take the first opportunity for a destructive blow against Serbia to give the monarchy a few decades of calm internal development. Serbia must learn to fear us again.
In life, the Crown Prince had been a champion of peaceful coexistence with Serbia. In death, he was becoming a cause for war. Even before the assassination, Austro-Hungarian Chief of Staff Konrad von Hertzendorf had pressed for war against Serbia no fewer than 20 times. Now he made his case again.
I expressed to His Majesty my opinion that war with Serbia was unavoidable. That is entirely correct, said His Majesty. But how are you going to wage war if everyone, in particular Russia, is going to attack us? We have backing from Germany, I replied. His Majesty gave me a searching look and said, "Can you be certain of that?"
This was the moment when what could have been just another war in the Balkans began to turn into the First World War. Austro-Hungarian Emperor Franz Joseph now asked the German Kaiser for support. On the 6th of July, he got just the answer he wanted.
The German government is of the opinion that we must decide what is to be done. Whatever we decide, we may always be certain that we will find Germany at our side, a faithful ally and friend of our monarchy.
Germany's Kaiser Wilhelm II was Queen Victoria's oldest grandson. He was a flamboyant character with no eye for detail. He had an immature streak, desperate to be popular, often petulant. A king's insecurities matter little if he has no power, but the Kaiser was Germany's commander-in-chief, its supreme warlord. Germany's crucial decision to back Austria was made with no care for the consequences. Neither the Kaiser nor his senior political and military leaders took any steps to find out how far Austria-Hungary was prepared to go. It was Germany's confident support that pushed Austria forward. But far from plunging the world into war in 1914 out of aggression, Germany was just nudging it closer out of incompetence and wishful thinking. The Kaiser was so sure no war was brewing that he went on holiday. But any local Balkan conflict had the potential to set Europe alight, given that Europe was divided into two volatile camps. On the one side were Germany, Austria-Hungary and Italy. On the other were France and Russia. If Austria attacked Serbia, Russia might leap to her aid and attack Austria. Then Germany would have to fight to protect Austria. This document was Austria's excuse for war. It was filled with demands so extreme and insulting that Serbia could never accept them. But just in case they did, the Austrian ambassador in Belgrade was ordered to reject any reply as unacceptable. He delivered the ultimatum at 6 p.m. on the 23rd of July, 1914. Slavko Mihailovich was a Belgrade doctor.
The news of the ultimatum spread quickly, and soon there was a real alert. Streets and bars were crowded with anxious people. Everybody wondered what answer our government would give, whether a new war would be avoided.
Austria's ultimatum caught the world's diplomats napping.
The French government, the French press, and public opinion have been inconceivably surprised. Paris is almost dead. All the ambassadors but one are out of town.
The Kaiser was on his yacht in Norway when the text of the Austrian ultimatum arrived.
The Kaiser arrived on deck as usual after breakfast and said to me, I was still holding the wireless message, "That's a pretty strong note for once in a while." "It certainly is," I replied, "but it means war." Whereupon the Kaiser observed that Serbia would never risk a war.
She might not have risked it on her own, but she had a powerful ally, Russia. Convinced that Germany was warmongering, Russia began partial mobilization on the 28th of July. This was the second key stage of the crisis, as Britain's Foreign Secretary Edward Grey warned.
From the moment the dispute ceases to be one between Austria-Hungary and Serbia and becomes one in which another great power is involved, it cannot but end in the greatest catastrophe that has ever befallen the continent of Europe.
Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia that same day. The first shots of the war were fired from here, the Austrian fortress of Zemun, just across the river from Belgrade. In the dead of night, Major Voja Tankasic had the Black Hand blow the only railway bridge.
Windows shattered to smithereens, and broken glass covered the floor. Patients started screaming. So it was true. The war had begun.